Welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to another wonderful episode of The Fall of New Vesara. I am your humble dungeon master, Tyson Fraleigh, but you're not here for me. You're here for our wonderful cast of characters, and playing those cast of characters is our wonderful cast of actors. Starting up, under daylight, this individual may be gentle and kind, but once the moon gets high in the sky, they will grow fur, longer claws, terrifying fangs, but still just welcome you in for a cup of tea. It is Hannah Halcro.
Woo! Does anyone have some kibble?
Next up, this figure is hanging out for the most part in a big dark manor on the top of the nearby hill, covered with tombstones and a terrifying forest out in the back, and has been suggested that they might drink blood of some variety or another. But you know, hey, he's just a shy little guy hanging up there. It's Takeshi Fukushima.
One actor.
Next up, they exist on the bottom of some sea or other. I can't remember which lake it is in Scotland. However, you may see his head pop up every once in a while to come up for air, but is really just looking for some good old algae to munch on. We'll go with that. It is Adam Honigman.
This is a real thing I have done in my youth, and I'd prefer if you not get me involved with the authorities by revealing this. Thank you very much.
And last, but certainly not least, they live in the briar patches. You will not be able to see them before it is the last possible moment. They are the Pumpkin King. It is Liz Nyveen.
I was sure we were going to go with, like, a deadly rabbit or something.
That would have been so cool if we went Dracula, Wolfman, Creature from Black Lagoon, Bunacula. What a cool...
Or, like, Wallace, Gromit, Were-Rabbit. One of us could be the penguin with the mechanical pants.
With all of that out of the way, let's get to a little recap of what happened last time. Last time on the Fall of New Vesara, the party had entered inside the Museum of Esoteric Histories. You guys were able to successfully destroy one of the terrifying robotic guards known as Otanokasms. You scratched out the runes just in time before you were interrupted by an older gnomish man questioning you on what exactly your purpose was, where you were able to successfully lie about how you are simply the engineering unit here to do some repairs, which eventually led you down into the first floor of the actual museum itself. After exploring the space and looking for any kind of way to descend into the secret vault down below, you guys encountered a storage room, got some cool stuff there, went into the maintenance closet, got some cool stuff there, and interacted with one of the archivists, Miss Turnball, a beleaguered woman who eventually led you to the proper curator of the actual museum, one Darian Daska. They led you down into the vault area as a way to review the security system. You guys attempted to open the door, seemingly tripping the alarm, but Lance was able to dodge out of the way of all the security measures, and in fact found the single finger of the previous thieves of the vault that you were hired to find by Mr. Thunderkin. You picked up the finger with the ring intact, and as you were about to leave, a sapphire from one of the raised platforms holding numerous magical items across it flew from the raised altar and onto the scabbard of one Gilly, seemingly conjuring some sort of blade hilt at the apex. As you guys headed up the stairs, that is where we left off. You all head up the stairs to the first floor, travel together, heading up to the second, back up to the main thoroughfare, and step out into the afternoon light as the city is before you.
What time of day is it?
At this point, yeah, it's afternoon.
Well, it's time for some afternoon tea, I think. My place?
I attempt to make meaningful eye contact with Lance through the helm and fail.
You receive nothing in return.
So I resort to whispering. Did you get it?
I reach into my little pouch and I pull out. I'd separated the ring and the finger, so I pull them each out and I show them both subtly to our group.
I smack him a little bit, like, just keep walking.
Remind me, is the ring, like, we were told what we were looking for, but is the sigil on it of note at all?
I believe when you were inside, you were not able to deduce. I'll say anyone who has proficiency in history can make a check if they so desire.
Don't you remember?
Ah, yes, the non-intelligence group.
No history, no arcana. Okay, great. Tea, I guess.
Look, we might be being followed. Let's take a circuitous route.
Can I do a bit of like a follow check? Can I scout out, see if anyone's on our tail?
Sure, make a perception check.
What? It's gonna be a 10.
Kind of keeping an eye to the rooftops behind you. Don't see anything.
I'm fully confident that is exactly how the situation is.
Yeah, I'd like to lead the group in a kind of roundabout way back to my apartment.
You travel from the Magnus Ward towards the Glass Springs. As you arrive to the northernmost spot, you find your apartment. You corral the group inside. You see Sausages set up on the couch just napping.
Sausage. I give him a good scritch.
Immediately wakes up and starts purring.
Yeah, once we're inside, I plop down on the couch for a little bit and let out a huge sigh. Whew. Hot tamales. That was a time. How are you guys feeling?
I don't know that I use the same language as you, but I think my sentiment is the same. That was about as successful as an unsuccessful attempt could have been.
I mean, from where I'm standing, we were completely successful.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more successful. And then I point out the now filled scabbard on your back.
You nicked something else while we were there.
What? Is there something on me? Is it a spider? Fuck.
It's more like it followed us. There's some weird magic that occurred.
Oh, fuck. What is that? Why is it glowing? Is it like that stupid fucking chest? I shrug off the scabbard gingerly and like just put it on the ground. And also I open a window because Sausage is making me have to sneeze. I hate this place. I don't know why we keep coming back here.
I put on the tea. Go put on a kettle.
You toss the scabbard to the ground as you just see at the top what looks like a two-handed leather-wrapped sword hilt brought on two sides, and as it impacts onto the ground, you watch as the hilt just boom, 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 just bounces out of it. There is no blade attached.
And it's blue?
It's a silver color with what looks to be like some sort of almost light blue, just faint gemstone emblazoned on both sides of the pommel.
Okay. Are my harpoons still in there?
Yep.
Oh, God. Good. I nudge it with my toe.
Just spins.
I pick it up.
Which hand do you pick it up in?
This one, my left.
Your left? Which hand is your dragon ring on?
I didn't wear it. It's still in my pocket.
It's still in your pocket. Okay. You pick it up.
You're so fucking suspicious right now.
You're holding it, and it's very nice. Like the leather grip, it's very solid in your fingers. It's nice.
This would be great if it was a sword.
Oh, god fucking damn it, Gilly. Did you have to go and steal something?
No. Where did it come from? Who put it on me? Was it you?
It came from the vault. It like jumped into your. It looked like it was a gemstone, and then it flew through the air on seemingly of its own accord.
You're making no sense.
You also do notice the sapphire is still on the actual scabbard. It looks like it's just poof, like embedded itself into the leather of the actual scabbard.
Okay, yeah, it was this. I point at it enthusiastically.
Had I noticed the sapphire when I was in the vault? I think I'd made mention
Yes.
of it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
The thing was in the vault with me. How did it get to you?
I do not know. Reggie, you're fucking weird. You ever seen anything like this before?
Tyson, would I have seen anything like this before?
I'll say make a history check.
19.
19. Looking at the scabbard, it's very old. Looking across it, and as you're kind of looking at it, it's kind of weird. Like, you saw it on Gilly's back before this point, and you remember it just looking like just a shabby scabbard for the most part. You're looking it over. It looks like cleaner, weirdly enough, as you're holding it in your hands. The leather is much more well tight and pulled together. If I'll say for Gilly, if you want to give a further description of what your initial idea of what the scabbard had looked like.
Sure. I pictured it, kind of shitty looking. It had this, like, obviously cheap, like, gilt edging, like, at the tip of it and around the sword hole. Like a pressed tin that someone, like, painted yellow, basically. And it is worn across the back usually, but that's because they, like, added a bit of belt to make it longer, because the intention for the piece is that it is a sword belt, rather than a baldric type thing.
And you also notice that the tin at the top where the gold was, it seems especially cracked at this point. On a strictly historical level, you're looking it over. Nothing immediately strikes you in the sense of, like, note on the specific item or what it might be. You do feel some reminiscent, like, as you're holding it, like, something, like, old. It just kind of strikes into your mind, just looking over the engravings and such.
We're dealing with some old fucking magic. Great. Just what I needed to do today.
Where did you get it from?
I found it in a basement when I was younger, and the person who owned the basement said I could keep it, and I was like 16, and it seemed cool. It seemed like a conversation piece,
We're definitely having a conversation about it now.
See? Lots of conversations.
I'm inclined to let you handle it on your own, but if there's any way that the Institute suddenly realizes where the gemstone went and tracks back to us, then it becomes over a problem. So, if we can resolve this, then let's resolve this. And if there's nothing to resolve...
What if we paint it? Or, like, Barb, give me some quilting fabric. I'm sure you have that shit. You're old, right?
Yeah, I trundle over to my like armoire on the side of the room, and I get out, like, kid pencils and paints, and some, like, sewing stuff. But before I'm, just because, I leave it on the table with some paper. It's like, it's craft time, kids. And then I kind of stop myself, like, wait, did you get the finger?
I reach in my pockets and I lay the severed finger and the ring both down on the table. How's the finger looking in terms of
It has very subtly begun to rot. Not enough that it has gone into full about to stink up the apartment kind of waft, but it's not looking good.
This may actually improve the air quality in here.
Oh, okay, you can sit outside.
Barb, do you have, like, a mason jar or something?
Yeah. Oh, for the yes, of course. And then I go into the kitchen and start making a racket. Hear glasses and forks and knives moving around. And a minute later, I come back with a jar. But the lid obviously doesn't match, but they still fit together.
Now that we have a good look at the ring, what is it?
It's entirely... You can't tell if it's actual gold or just gold plated. It looks like the shape of almost like a diamond that's sectioned into 4 pieces with extending, like, points that go in all 4 directions.
Is it like a signet ring where you might use it to press?
It's definitely a signet ring. It seems probably something similar to that.
When we were doing the Thunderkin, did we see any sort of similar iconography around? Did the people we were dealing with have jewelry of their own? No.
The only thing that would probably be noteworthy about at least the different people working with Thunderkin were the dog tags. And that wasn't even everybody. That was just, there just seemed to be a lot of veterans who work for the Thunderkin.
Is this thing magical? You should put it on. I didn't read it. I heard if it's magical, it'll just resize to fit you, and then we'll know.
I look at my heavily armored hand and go, perhaps I'm not the best test subject for this.
The general you.
I mean, hey, Gilly, you're already one cursed object in. Why don't you go for another?
No, God, why did you say that?
I push the jar over to Gilly.
Well, I mean, if no one else is gonna, I'm not squeamish about dead people, but if this is cursed and I get fucked, fuck you guys. Because this was a good idea. And I should not be punished for having good ideas. I put it on the right pinky because it's a signet ring, and that's where they go.
Okay. You put it on?
Does it resize immediately?
Nope.
Okay. It's not magical. Put it back in the jar. Wipe my hand on my pants.
Before it goes, I'm gonna take it out of the jar again, and I have some sealing wax in my inventory. I want to press the ring into the wax to get like a mold of it.
Okay. Easily done.
And actually, I'll also get a mold of the fingers print.
Okay. Sounds good.
Does the skin just come off?
That is actually an incredibly good point. Let's say make a medicine check to keep the finger preserved while you're doing this. To be careful with it.
That's a 5.
A 5. You press it, and you pull the finger away, and basically all the skin is still just stuck to the actual wax. So you do have a fingerprint. It just happens to be the actual fingerprint.
Well, I'll keep that as a partial win.
What, are you gonna tan it now? That's disgusting.
You're just inventing the CSI.
Okay, well, I guess we can, we need to rest at all, we can rest now and then go see the guy and give the ring to him.
We didn't do anything.
Oh, really? Nothing? Okay. Dang.
No, we walked in, we went until they stopped us, and they didn't really stop us, and then we walked out again.
I've used every single spell slot in Bardic Inspiration I have.
And you're the only one.
So I think that's maybe why we were able to walk in.
Sure, we could hang out for an hour. I need to cover this sapphire, apparently.
Yeah, have fun with it, get creative.
Do you have any crepe paper? I could do a little rose.
Yeah, I have like a really crumpled old package and then like some pipe cleaners and then some markers, and half of them are like, or some ink and quills, I don't know, that are like half of it's dried up. It's clear that I had there was a child in my life at some point many years ago. Well, it wasn't like it was like some friends, I don't know.
Well, we don't know that. I'm constructing a tragic backstory for you as we speak in my head.
Maybe it was like my ex-wife's niece or something, I don't know.
What a disconnected character for you, my ex-wife's niece. What a strong relationship you had with this character.
I'm gonna do crafts for this hour if we're doing a rest.
I'll continue to refer to some of the literature and notes and maps and things, just kind of going over stuff.
Okay, I make cookies. I go in and make some cookie dough. That's what I do for the hour.
You can't tell? Lance, very excited by this development.
Very good.
For Gilly, first I would like you to make an intelligence check.
Oh, good. This will end well. 18, baby.
18, okay. And now please make a dex check.
Natural 1. How does it look, Tyson?
You design a wonderful looking rose in your head. You've got it mapped out. You've got the construction paper. You've got it all going. You're cutting through, and before one kind of bad cut with the scissors cuts the original piece just in half, which, without it, there will be no support. Start going into it again, trailing around. This time you get about like 3 layers in as all the different petals of the flower go before slip, and the entire thing cut in half. Out of curiosity, do you keep the sword hilt on you?
Yeah, does it stay in the scabbard if it gets tilted around, or it flops out at the slightest provocation?
It's interesting. While it's on your back and actually in it, you tilt it upside down and it stays in place. But the moment you let go of it, it comes loose like nothing.
Well, I'm not gonna wear the scabbard while I'm working on it, so the hilt will just be like next to me. I think I would be like sitting on the dining room table because I want to get very far away from anything in this house that's upholstered and that's covered in cat hair. And I assume the dining chairs have something on them because Barb is an old lady. So I'm on the table, it's on the table, the craft stuff is on the table.
Very good. So as you're sitting next to it, you have this weird kind of flood of... You're not even sure how to describe it, like a bolstered, like, warmth that kind of passes through you. You're not entirely sure what to make of it. And for Regina, Lance, and Barb, you're looking over towards Gilly. As you're kind of doing your thing, you see as Gilly's kind of general just stature as they're working on, like, this first the rose, then the pipe cleaner. Can't notice that, like, their back kind of straightens a bit. They seem to... It's an interesting sensation. Like, there's a certain warmth that emanates off them that makes you feel... Invested isn't the right word, but it's a weird kind of connection that you're developing, that you feel like you could trust them with anything. For Gilly, there is no name for this item. However, from this point forward, whenever you activate an oath spell that uses wisdom saves, the target makes them at disadvantage, as your seeming aura and aspect makes people want to do better.
Aww, friendship.
Well, you think it's cute, but it's fucking with everyone's head.
At which point, just checking, Regina, do you recharge any of your, oh goodness me, inspiration or spell slots on a short rest?
Absolutely none.
Okay. Well, in which case, you just get to have a time just smoking out the window.
I'm playing my trumpet.
How good is the trumpeting?
Please make a performance check.
Fuck you guys, 27.
You tell me, Regina, what kind of music are you playing?
Oh, I'm playing one of those slow, sexy noir ballads right now.
You're probably like 10 minutes into this. You hear a knocking at the door.
I stop trumpeting.
Okay. I'll go get it.
Barb, you open the door. As you see a relatively familiar to you individual, short, gaunt human man, seems to have like a mostly gray, a little bit of spackling of black hair in their beard. You recognize this individual as Mr. Carruthers. He lives like down the hall.
Mr. Carruthers, how can I help you?
Barbara, right?
That's right. How are you doing today?
I'm not doing too bad. Yourself?
Fine, thank you. Just making some cookies.
Really? Divine.
At this point, they're in the oven, so you can probably smell them.
A little bit of oh, real pep in the step. I'm so sorry to disturb you. Was there someone playing trumpet in here?
I freeze a little bit. And I kind of turn and look at Regina. Like, yes, in fact, I just had a few friends over, but We'll be leaving soon.
Oh, I hope not to intrude. I apologize. It was just breathtaking.
Oh, good. I was worried you were concerned about the noise.
No. Please. Everyone is allowed to play the music of in their heart. You know what I mean. But no, I was wondering. I don't know if your friend does classes. My granddaughter Cecily, she's looking into the sort of the music aspect for it, and hearing such a divine piece of work. I suppose I'm just curious.
Well, I don't know. Why don't you? I'll ask her.
Perfect. And if it sweetens the deal, just kind of pulls out a small pouch of a small leather pouch, just hands it over. Give that and call that a bit of a introduction fee, if it were.
Oh well, thank you very much. We'll be in touch. You just down the hall, right?
Yes, just down the hall, and feel free if when you come knocking, best to get your best tea-tasting tongue prepared.
Ooh, Mr. Carruthers.
Yeah, I have some specialties that I'm more than happy to introduce to some seasoned artistes.
Well, I'll bring a baked goods and we'll make a day of it. How about that?
Perfect. I wish not to hold you too much longer. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Good day.
Gives a little wave and shambles down the hallway.
I kind of watch him go and then go back into my apartment. I'm not used to people knocking on my door at all, as you can tell. I kind of just stand there dumbfounded for a second and look at Regina like, what? My neighbor wants you to give his niece trumpet lessons.
What?
He gave you this, and I just hand over the pouch.
I don't really think I have the time for that.
Do you open it and it's nothing but Werther's Originals inside?
Yeah, what's in the pouch, Tyson?
Inside the pouch is 10 gold pieces.
I make 10 times that, per hour, probably, so...
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Well, if you ever want a good tea, I guess he's also offered that.
Yes, I heard that he rather wants your tea-tasting tongue around.
Yeah.
Now, maybe that's slang from a previous generation.
Oh, no, you wouldn't understand. I'll let him down gently in a week or so.
All right, I'll give Barb the money back.
I'll tuck it away in one of my many drawers, and I'll return it to Mr. Carruthers in due time.
It's always great to have a fallback. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks, Gilly. That's great to hear. Yeah, what's your fallback? Stealing jewels from vaults?
No, actually, I'm already on my fallback, so I need to come up with another fallback, I guess. But this is going to last forever. This is going to be great. This is sustainable. My life is sustainable. Shut up. I'm doing crafts. Persuasion of the self.
Go ahead, roll persuasion, Gilly.
Oh, I thought it was a 1, but it's better than that. So it's actually a 12.
A 12. You hold on to your own resolve and self-delusion. Everyone else is not so persuaded. But you know this is true.
My life is good. I have a good life.
I just pat you on the back and go get the cookies out of the oven.
I augment my tea some more.
The cookies are lavender cardamom and lemon zest. That's what kind of cookies.
That's pretty fruity.
There is a notable shift in Lance's demeanor when they exit the oven.
In a positive direction?
Yes,
Okay.
Whereas the attention was on the research before, now suddenly you can never tell too much from the eyes of this man, but there does seem to be a shift in attention towards the lovely sheet of cookies that has now just been revealed to the room.
Mm-hmm. I pour everyone a second cup of tea and serve the cookies. With that, I think it's probably been like an hour.
Yes. At this point, your short rest has come to an end.
So time to get in bed with the mob?
Well, you can do that, but I'd like to go hand in this ring.
Yeah, I was speaking euphemistically. That's what I meant too.
Oh, kids today.
Listen, tea-tongue bath.
As you guys head out of Barb's apartment, down into the sprawl, as you arrive at the Onyx Ungulate Construction Company, once again, the main headquarters, step inside, see that there is seems to be fresh staff have been brought in. However, you see that the one working at the front desk takes a look at you, seemingly like recognizes you, not necessarily from having met you before, but seems to know the description. Just, he's in the back. Head down the hallways back towards the double set doors. As you walk inside, you immediately see a familiar rhino leaning against his desk, looking over a series of papers. Takes a big draw of a cigar between his fingers. Looks down, looks back up towards you all.
Well, I was not expecting your faces to show up again. I'm happy to be surprised.
You look both of those emotions right now.
I know. I'm an emotive man. So, get it done.
I pull out the jar and say, "We've done our part, and in return I expect you to do yours."
Of course, of course. Mind if I...
Appreciate some assurances first before we get to this.
Oh, I mean, if you're talking about your man, we've already got him.
On the premises.
Indeed. Don't worry, we haven't done anything to him. We figured you lot should get the first choice.
There's no place more trusting than the back alleys. I slide the jar across his desk.
Stops it with a finger. Kind of shakes it up so that the signet ring lands to the bottom of the glass.
Perfectly done.
Sets it up on a back shelf before turning back around.
All right. Give me a moment.
Stands up. Goes to a side of the room where there was once just a bookshelf, just filled with different sections. As he kind of looks over on one of the top shelves, grabs one, flicks through a few pages. Closes the book, puts it back up on the shelf, heads back to the desk, sits down.
So, before we pull Mr. Laskin in, is there anything else that you require? Any other bits to note from your little adventure? Something we should keep our eyes on about.
I would not recommend trying that stunt you pulled again. You may not only lose a finger next time.
Truly.
We found it with the skin off. That was before. It sort of stuck to the floor a bit. Dried out.
Enough chit-chat. Can we get to it, please?
Oh, he's already on his way. He should be here any
Minute as the doors swing open behind you. As you see three figures. On either side of the central figure, you see that there is a half-orcish woman. Slip one arm under the center figure. Beside them, a Goliath. Underneath the other, as in the center, being dragged forward. You can see what looks to be a human man. Probably late 20s, early 30s. Disheveled. Very pale right now. Looks a little bit dazed. Not being full dragged, but basically just arm in arm, just being pulled in. He's still on his feet, but he looks a little bit shaky. Before being thrown forward by the other two. As you see, was Oslo just lean back.
Well, Well, Mr. Laskin, thank you for making yourself known.
See, looks around to all of you. I didn't do nothing. What's kind of, and just seems to quietly be talking to himself while looking out over everyone.
Chet, can you go and make sure a side room is vacant?
See, the Goliath nods, turns.
Well, you see, Mr. Laskins, it seems that these four have a particular interest in your lot. See what's what with a group of you.
Laskins just looks around. I don't know any of these people.
Seem they know you. How unfortunate.
See, Chet walks back in. We've got one. We'll take him in, or do the four of you handle him?
I think we can handle him. He looks fucked up already, so.
Make sure to bring him back here when all's said and done. There's a conversation we need to have about outside projects, as it were.
Where's this room?
Chet points and you see about 2 doors down on the right-hand side, what looks like just a regular office space. Step inside. The room is mostly vacant. In the sense of, not only just in the sense of people, but just general actual items. There are 2 chairs that are set on either sides of the room. There's a small window that goes on the, basically where the wall meets the actual roof. There is a desk. There are bookshelves, but all of it is empty. Aside from that, it is scarce. There are no writing implements, no books, no nothing, just furniture. Which point, Chet throws Laskins inside.
Easy.
Sorry.
I close the door.
Closes after you.
Looks like you pissed him off.
Not supposed to take outside work. Might contradict with, the philosophy.
So you are a Thunderkin.
Yeah. I was. Not much anymore.
My associate has some questions for you.
I pull out the relevant newspaper clipping of that particular fire, and I point at the date, and I say, "Where were you this day? Tell us what happened." I shove it in his face.
Takes a step back. I don't know. It was probably, out at work. Popping around a few places. Think a few days ago, I was at the theater.
What do you do for work?
Work construction here.
Just construction?
Yeah, mostly, they usually call me in for framing. It's easy work.
Seems it is, yeah. And what other work have you been doing?
Taking a few odds and ends jobs, Looks at you. Doesn't spot any badges, so he's a little bit less uptight. There's a few people in town. Let's say they need a bit more of an aggressive stance. I take that on, time to time.
Look, I think I have the dog tags, I would assume, right? I pull them out. These look familiar to you. Think very carefully about what the next words out of your mouth are.
I don't understand why you're here. The normal person who, burned the place down, didn't he get arrested? I don't know how my fucking thing's gotten there. Maybe you don't know this, but there's a bookie. Down in the basement. No.
I never said where I found them.
Fuck it. Fine. Look, okay? I was around when the fire happened. There was the kid. He was in there. I jumped in. I tried to stop him, but, things blew up and got out of hand, and after that, I just kind of ran.
Why would you jump in to try and stop someone from burning down a building unrelated to you?
Alright. I just heft out my giant meat cleaver and lay it on the table with a ka-thunk. Are you gonna tell us what happened or not?
You know, to get you into this room, it required us finding a severed finger. I'd be inclined to think that maybe we could get another one if we wanted to.
Either Barb or Lance, please feel free to make an intimidation check at advantage.
Oh, I rolled a nat 20, baby. That's a 23.
You set the warhammer down on the table as he's just staring at it, listens to Lance, looks back to you, Gilly. Fine. Okay. Look, if I talk about this, you can't say nothing to no one.
We'll do what we want.
Look, you want to keep your heads? This ain't just me and you in a shitty little spot. The people we're talking about, they could come down and kill you, your entire families, everyone.
Well, you best tell us everything then, so we can sort this problem out.
I don't know them full by name, but I do know them by reputation, and I do know where they are in trade for letting me out of this room alive. Well, then maybe a good word with the big man.
Who are the other two?
We were sent. I don't know by who. That was not my job. I was just a hand, as it were. There's another guy. Stupid thing. We used to call ourselves by nicknames. This guy, they call him Kilgrave. It's a bit of a stupid name. It's also his professional name. I don't know if any of you have been around the Cicatrix Revenge.
Tyson, can I reasonably believe that if there's another mercenary going by a cool code name, I would be familiar?
Yes, this is not a bounty hunter. However, Hannah, Barb does know the Cicatrix Revenge.
Like a venue for underground boxing.
It is an underground boxing ring. It is the premier. It is known to travel. No one ever knows where it is. It's like a it's almost like a tour, so that way the cops can't find like one venue and know that that's where they are. It seems that Kilgrave is probably just their boxing name.
Wait, so do I know this person?
Make a history check.
Oh, 13.
You've heard word of someone, like very loosely, like this was just before your bakery burned down. This was like maybe like a few weeks before that. You do remember there was an up and comer by that name that some of the patrons would mention. Not for necessarily good reasons though. As of that point, this individual was an up and comer. They were like a hot name to kind of like keep an eye on. However, at that point, the most recent thing that the people had learned is that he had actually killed someone accidentally in the ring. He was known for hitting you so hard that he could kill you in an outright punch.
Oh fuck.
Well, that was that's one, and the other one, he called himself the Almirage, but the thing is, someone did fuck up at one point. We were coming out of a little spot. It's known as the Wigan Wheel. It's just a little bit further up in the Footlights district, but they called him I think Calgary. He wasn't on the last job though. He popped in here and there to do some work, but the toast of the town wasn't the first job like this. There have been quite a few that we've been hired on. Again, I don't know who hired us. I just know they paid well, and that was more. That was a little bit more Kilgrave's thing. He worked with. Well, there was the toast of town.
I pull out the relevant news clipping and slap it on the table.
Slap it on the table. Looking it over. Yeah, he looks him over and goes, "That was us. That was us. That was us."
Are they pointing to all of them?
Pointing to the vast majority.
Mine?
Not yours.
Boo.
Does point at yours as Lance. Does point to a bunch before getting to the end. This was before me, but apparently there was one before. Apparently it was a bit of a fucking mess. Near the was it Glass Springs, there was not a bakery, but it was an old tavern, kind of more south side of town. Don't know who decided to fucking design the place, but apparently spread into a nearby park and then up into some sort of fucking orphanage or something like that. It was some nasty business.
I'm gonna grab him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When you say before your time, who else was there? And where are they now?
Well, I know Kilgrave. I've heard of him just being in the boxing circuit. So I think he's currently around, pops in every once in a while for like new challenges.
I shake him. Who else?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. All I know is Kilgrave, maybe Calgary, but I'm not entirely sure.
Let me ask you a question. You seem so sure of your employer's ability to create chaos and anarchy, yet you seem to have no idea what their identity is. So why is that?
They kept it anonymous intentionally. With me specifically, I am just pulled in by Kilgrave occasionally. He'll usually send like some sort of letter or something near my house and take it, and he'll note a time, a place, primary location. Then we all travel together to the secondary location where we actually do the business, as it were. And then from that point, we then figure out what to do next. Go our separate ways, or usually divides pay, and then we go our separate ways, and that's usually the end of it.
So you're a fucking coward. Toss him back in his chair.
No need to get all aggressive here. Is there another chair I can sit in?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sit in the other chair. I'm gonna do like that scene in Men in Black where I take a really long time to drag the chair across the room. Laskin, can I offer you a cigarette?
Fucking yeah.
I light a cigarette for him. Now, I am sorry that my friends here were so rough with you. You've got to understand, this is a very touchy subject for a lot of them, very personal. We just want to get to the bottom of what's going on here. And I genuinely do think that it is in the best interests of you that we figure out what's going on here and put a stop to it. Because as you say, you're working for some dangerous characters, and that never ends well. The sooner these characters can be brought to light, we can put them behind bars, I think you'll be able to live your life without keeping one eye open when you sleep. Do you understand what I mean, Laskin?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But look, nothing for nothing. These guys are... I don't know who these people are. I don't know what the deal is. But regardless, it's clear they've been doing this for a while. And none of them have been caught yet. And I mean, Night Scorcher business, whatever sort of bullshit that is. How... All I'm saying is that if you seriously think that a lot of you are going to be able to figure this out, I don't know what to tell you. If you do decide to continue this, just be careful where you start looking.
How much were the lot of you paid for each of these jobs?
Anywhere between 600 to maybe 1,000 platinum.
For all of you or for each of you?
Each.
And Kilgrave, how long has he been part of this operation?
I don't know. At this point, years.
How long have you been part of this operation exactly?
This point, on and off for about 2 years. But in fairness, I'm a very new kind of situation. I guess you could say. I know this thing's been going on for a while, but they've definitely been ramping it up. That's definitely been, it's been getting more often that we've been called in. That's, I guess, some new extra work for, extra hands for extra work, I guess. Kilgrave, I don't know how long he's been working on it, but it's been a long time. He's at least talked like even 10 years back. As far as I understood, those things were pretty uncommon. It's only been within the past 2 years that they've really started to up their ante.
How did you first fall into this?
I mentioned to a few people that I was looking for work.
And they just put you on this arson rampage top secret job?
Not right away. There were a few people who had heard things about Kilgrave, but it wasn't that at first. There was a few times where, like, there was one time that we broke into a place in the middle of the night. There was one that we... little bit of interrogation, you could call it. But it was only after I'd done a few jobs with him that he opened up and let me into the full scope of things. Before that, it was chump change. This was when you start to hit the big time.
And I'm supposing, based on your blind terror at the prospect of angering your erstwhile employer, that you wouldn't be willing to testify to any of this in the court of law.
You know what? If I leave this place alive, and you find out who did this, and you bring them to a public court of law, sure. Be happy to do it.
I'll hold you to that.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, we want him alive either way, right?
I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Well, if we want to, like, do a court case, we kind of...
They killed kids.
Yeah, someone paid him to kill kids. It's like, we need to get to the top of this. I'm not satisfied with just this one.
Listen, I'm sick of looking at this idiot. And if I stay in here, I'm gonna get real angry. So, if you have more questions, that's fine. I'm gonna step out.
I'm not so convinced we can get him out alive, but we shall make an effort. I'll lean into Regina. Collaborators, addresses is all we need at this point.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind providing us with those, I'll slide him a blank piece of paper that I have.
I don't have addresses, but I do know Kilgrave, with the Cicatrix Revenge, they set something up in the Brass Yards. I don't know if it's in a few days, I don't know if it's already set up. But I think it's in a series of abandoned factories they've set up into a tournament. For Calgary, I don't know much about him. We initially met at the Glamour Barge. I kind of got the idea that maybe he had a few Namiri nicks in him.
Well, thank you very much, Laskin. You've been a great help to us, and believe you me, we'll do everything in our power to make sure that this case is wrapped up with the least amount of pain possible. Oh! I start to get up, and then I turn around. One more thing.
One more thing.
I've been waiting to do that for the entire conversation. I slide my pen over to the piece of paper that I had laid in front of him, and I say, "We found some writings associated with this case, handwritten. We're just trying to burn through suspects. If you wouldn't mind signing your name down there, just so we can cross-reference the writing style."
Sure, and just picks it up and signs his name.
I pick the paper and the pen up, look at it, No, it's not you. Well, thank you very much. You've been a great help.
I'll lean into him. You stay out of trouble from now on. Squeaky clean. Understood?
Again, a series of nods.
As we're leaving, I'll walk alongside Regina and say, makes no difference to me, but if you're inclined to keep your witness alive, I reckon maybe going to try and make some assurances for that. And I'll walk away.
With that being said, that is where we will end this episode. Is there anything that people would like to plug?
I've got nothing particularly going on, but between the last recording session and this one, I've watched 4 seasons of My Hero Academia, and that's what I will reference. So go watch that show.
I would love to plug October Jones and Fish with Legs. It is an all-ages fantasy comedy adventure series starring the snarky human teenager October Jones and the plucky fish with legs named Fish with Legs. All of us have acted in it at one point or another. Lizzie as one of the co-creators and also one of the writers and editors, amongst many other hats. It has recently started its 2nd season, which is really great. I mean, the whole thing is really great, but, if you wanted a good jumping on point, season 2 is probably not where you should jump on, but there's a recap. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Kids Listen, and wherever good podcasts are to be found. You can also check out more and find, extras and artwork and stuff like that on octoberandfish.ca. Great podcast. Check it out.
I want to plug Jen. Hi, Jen. I was Jen once, and it was super fun. No context, we die like men.
I would like to plug the concept of comfortable furniture because we talked about that a little bit this episode. Yeah, we did. And I'm currently sitting on a nice floor cushion, and I wanted to say thanks. Thank you, Comfortable Furniture.
Well, with that being the case, thank you all so much for listening. If you like this series, make sure to check out our past series, Montreal by Night and Those Damn Kids. You can check out those series on Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. You can also check us out on YouTube at Three Kings Loot. Get all of your board game news from thebagofloot.com and get all your board game needs from threekingsloot.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.